Okay, so this is the second half of our C day. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look over some vocabulary words that you might see in this book. So I'm going to put up on the board. If you know the word, we're going to put it under K for no. If you want to know the word, so you don't know it yet, but we need to learn what it is, we're going to put it under W. And once we learn that word, we'll move it over here. Okay? So let's talk about them real quick. First word, ingredients.
Ingredients.
What does this mean?
It means like the ingredients, like the things that are put together to make something.
So the elements of a mixture.
Yeah.
Okay. What about, so do y'all know what that is? All right, so where can we put it?
No.
Do we know this one? Yeah, we've heard this word before. So we're going to put it under no.
Because we all helped our mom.
Yeah, we've all helped our mom cook, right? All right, what about this one? Raise your hand if you know this one. Gloomy. Gloomy. Have you heard that word? Gloomy.
I heard about it.
You heard it. What do you think it means?
Something like, I don't know.
What do you think?
It's like if someone's down and
They're gloomy. They feel dark. It's kind of depressing. When it's gloomy outside, it's kind of a sad day.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we don't all know this one, we're going to put it on W, and we're going to hear how they talk about it in the story. Okay. We're going to learn it. What about creature? Creature. Ooh, all hands went up. Daniel?
An animal.
Like an animal. Okay. A predator. Okay. Animal. Maybe a human that's kind of creepy. Creature. So we all know that one. We can put it under no. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Oh, get that in the screen. There we go. What about grumble?
Grumble.
Grumble. Anybody know what grumble is? Karen?
My tummy grumbles.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe if I'm really upset, I'm going to grumble. Kind of complain. Let's put this under W and see what our story says about it. We want to learn what that word is. Okay? Villain. Ooh, all hands went up. Destiny?
Like a bad.
The bad guy. Okay.
Sometimes they're not the bad guy.
The one that does the bad thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's put this under no. What about odious? Anybody know this one? Okay, let's find out that one in our story. So we want to know this one. Destiny, can you go close the door? What about mole? Mole. This one can have different meanings.
The first meaning is like a type of animal.
Okay.
And the second meaning could be like, there's a mole in our group. Like someone's spying.
A spy, yeah.
Or like a mole,
On your skin, okay. So let's go. If I look at this book and I say Aunt Isabel tells a good one and I see mice, what do you think? Which definition do you think? Like which one? The animal, okay. So let's put this over here because we know what a mole is. We just got to figure out which one. Like just a little bump. What about panic? Panic. Destiny?
Say someone is like running up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Run as fast as you can, like you're scared, but you're panicking.
Scared, extremely scared, a lot of fear, right? Panic. We know a lot of these words. What about lurk? Lurk. Daniel?
Like you walk around spying somewhere.
Maybe. Okay. To sneak.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're sneaking in someone's backyard.
Ooh, sneak.
Wanting to talk.
So not all hands went up on this one, so let's make sure we got it right and we'll put it under W for want to know. Nope, two more. Rampage. Rampage. Daniel?
You're going crazy.
You're going crazy?
Also, like a ram, whenever it's charging at you.
Okay. So, let's see.
Did something wrong.
Okay.
Probably his babies.
Let's put this under W since we don't all have the same definition. What about scurry? Scurry. Scurry. Anybody know?
You back off.
Maybe.
Someone's doing something.
Okay. Daniel?
You can run away really fast.
Run away really fast. Let's put it right here.
Like scurry away.
I think Daniel might be very close to our definition. Okay, so as we read the book, we're going to listen for these words, okay? So they're on the board behind us. So if you hear any of these words, I want you to stop me, okay? So the thing that I want to talk about while we read this book is we have a chart. Let me get my marker. So the title of our book, where would I find the title?
On the beginning on the cover.
On the cover. So it's Aunt Isabel Tells a Good One. So I'm going to write it in. Aunt Isabel tells a good one. Oh. Good. I don't know, buddy. We'll talk about that later. All right. The author. Who can see what the author's name is? Kate Duke. Okay, so I'm going to write her name in too. So what we're going to do is we're going to read this book. Now, as I read, I have a chart. You can see all my pretty little sticky notes. So if I hear a who, what would a who be? A person, a character. Then you're going to raise your hand and tell me. And I'm going to mark it with a red tab. If you hear a what, so a thing, then I will pull the what. Or the problem. If you hear a problem, tell me. We'll pull a what. If I hear a why is there a problem? So the what is the problem. The why is, why do we have that problem? If you hear why we have a problem, we're going to pull yellow. If we hear how, what do you think that's going to mean?
Like
How to solve the problem. Okay, so what is the problem? Why is, why do we have the problem? How is how we solve the problem. If you hear a where, we're going to pull a green. And if you hear a when, we're going to pull a blue. Now, at the end of the book, when we have all these, we'll be able to create what we call a summary. A summary is a short sentence about what the book is about. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to start reading. Now, remember, if you hear who, where, when, what, why, or how, let me write them on the board. So, who, what, where, when.
I'm not used to you writing in.
How. I know, I'm writing them in capital so y'all can see them. And why. I usually write in cursive, don't I? So if you hear one of those, you're going to stop me and we'll pull a tab, okay? Got it?
Okay.
All right. So Aunt Isabel tells a good one. So as you listen, if you do hear one of those, just kind of raise your hand. And once I get done with the page, we'll talk about it, okay?
Okay.
Tell me a story, said Penelope one night after supper. What kind of story? Asked Aunt Isabel. A good story, said Penelope. All right, said Aunt Isabel. A good story is the hardest kind to tell, though. We must put it together carefully with just the right ingredients. Let's start by giving it a when and a where. When does the story begin? Long, long ago, says Penelope. And where does it begin? Think of a place where exciting things can happen. All right, I see hands. Daniel? Oh, we saw ingredients. Okay. What else? Penelope. So what color would I pull? Red. Got a who. So here it is. Penelope. Karen?
We got a what? Like a story?
So did we hear a problem yet, though? Not a problem yet.
Where?
Where did we hear?
Like kind of at the end.
It says a place where exciting things can happen. Okay.
And when?
Ooh, we did get a win. What was the win?
A long time ago.
Long, long ago. So I'm going to pull a blue. Okay.
Another one, that one pink.
I think we heard one more who.
Yeah,
Aunt Isabel.
Sounds like someone from the story that I wrote. Episode thing I watched.
Okay. So let's keep reading. A cave, said Penelope. Long, long ago, whispered Aunt Isabel, there was a deep, dark cave in a gloomy forest where nobody lived except creatures who loved night and darkness and hid from the light. That's too scary, squeaked Penelope. What did we hear?
Creature.
Creature, okay.
And gloomy.
Gloomy.
A big
Ooh, we heard a where. We heard about a cave. So, did we hear what creature meant?
Yes.
Creatures who love the night and hid from the light.
Unknown.
Okay.
Called bats.
What did we hear what gloomy was?
Gloomy is like, or said it was gloomy.
A gloomy forest where nobody lived except creatures who loved night and darkness. Dark, scary, right? So can I move gloomy?
Yes.
We have a better understanding? Okay.
Dark and scary.
Alrighty.
What about we put gloomy on one because we just learned it?
Oh, that is true. Let's move it to learn. Because we learned it. Okay?
Yeah.
Alright, let's go to the next one. We'll put something cheerful in our story too then, said Aunt Isabel. Think of a who. Who shall be in this story? How about a handsome prince named Augustus, who lives on a sunny hill high above the gloomy forest? In a big castle, Penelope added. Certainly in a castle with his mother and father, the king and queen. Aunt Isabel agreed. Prince Augustus is as kind as he is good looking. He likes to have picnics in the garden and is always happy to share his sandwiches. I like this prince, said Penelope. Me too, said Aunt Isabel. Now let's add someone else, someone talented and charming. Shall we name this darling animal Penelope? What did we hear? Augustus. So we heard another who. Okay. What was the what? We hear a problem yet? No problem yet.
We heard two more people, Queen and King.
King and
We have
queen.
a new character called Penelope.
So we have Penelope marked, okay.
And a prince.
The castle. We have another where.
And a prince.
Yep, the Prince Augustus, we have him marked. Let me see. In a big castle. There we go. All right, you ready? Lady Penelope, said Penelope. Lady Nell, for short, said Aunt Isabel. Where does she come from? Nobody knows. She travels about wherever she likes and has learned many secrets and clever ways from the creatures she has met. She can fiddle like a cricket, sing like a dove, and wiggle her ears as well as any jackrabbit. Best of all, she has 4 pet fireflies that she can juggle like spinning gold stars. Okay. Some who's? Well, we didn't really get any new characters, but we did hear that she has pets, right?
Fireflies.
Pet fireflies, yes. Do it.
Creatures.
We heard creatures again, we did. Lady Nell, so that's still Penelope, but now we shortened it to Lady Nell. So whenever we hear Lady Nell, who are we talking about? Penelope. One day her travels take her by the castle. Prince Augustus hears her singing. What a beautiful voice, he thinks. He offers her a sandwich. What a generous heart, she thinks. Pretty soon, guess what happens? They fall in love, Penelope exclaimed. Exactly. So now our story has romance in it too, said Aunt Isabel. This story is coming out very nicely, said Penelope. Okay, so did we hear any new characters?
No.
We already knew about the castle.
We have a lot.
We added some love, some romance.
Romance.
Too much niceness can be dull, though, said Aunt Isabel. We'll add a problem. Listen. The king looks out from the castle and growls, Who is that raggedy girl? A dreadful creature, sniffs the queen. Can you imagine? She wiggles her ears. Most unladylike. Do we hear a problem?
Yes.
What's the problem we're hearing?
They don't like it.
Ooh, they don't like
it
her, so I'm going to
because
put purple.
She's all, oh, hi, hi.
Mm-hmm.
Just going.
Not the sort of animal we want our prince to know, thunders the king. Be gone with her. And with that, they send Lady Nell away to forbid Augustus ever to speak to her again. Isn't that sad? Asked Aunt Isabel. I think we should leave the problem part out, grumbled Penelope. What did we hear?
Grumble.
Grumble. So if I say it like this, I think we should leave the problem part out. What is it? What am I doing? I'm mumbling, right?
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I'm complaining. I'm muttering in complaint.
Should we put grumble in the name?
We did? Because what does it mean?
Oh, it means complaining.
To mutter, to complain. Okay, so we'll move them over. We don't have anything new. Just wait until you hear what happens next, said Aunt Isabel, because now we put villains in the story. Alone and sad, Augustus sits in the garden, weeping into his sandwiches. Night comes, and still he weeps. But finally, the queen goes out to scold him for being foolish. But he's gone. On the garden lies a note. It says, "The prince has been snatched. Give up the throne if you want him back. Signed, Odious Mole and Bad Egg Bat." Daniel?
We heard a villain.
We heard our villain. So did we hear another who?
Yes.
Yeah, Odious Mole and Bad Egg Bat.
Yep.
And are the villains still going with what we kind of talked about? What did we say a villain was?
A person who's evil.
A person who does bad things, okay?
Also, we heard mole.
I know, I marked him. We heard mole, so we'll have to figure out what odious mole means. Oh, how the queen weeps. Oh, how the king wails. And oh, what a panic there is in the kingdom. Odious Mole and bad egg bat, those bullies who lurk in the dark, plotting their mischief, are on the rampage. The townsfolk pack their things and rush to escape. The king and queen wring their paws, wondering what to do.
Rampage.
Rampage. Do we understand what rampage meant?
Yes, they're mad.
They're mad. They're being reckless. Maybe being violent. Okay. But when Lady Nell hears the news, she doesn't run away. She doesn't waste time with paw wringing. She leaves her camping out place, sneaks back to the castle garden, and finds a clue. A trail of sandwich crumbs leads away from the castle into the glooming forest at the bottom of the hill. Uh-oh, more scary stuff, cried Penelope. A little danger is good for a story, said Aunt Isabel. Lady Nell follows the trail farther and farther into the forest. At last, she comes to the mouth of the deep, dark cave. Should she go inside? No, squeaked Penelope. Yes. We hear that cave again, right? Didn't we already hear about that? Is that who lived in the cave? The creatures. Mm-hmm. Right?
Rampage, that you haven't, we learned that mad, you haven't put it on the word.
Oh, we need to move it. Okay. Well, someone's got to save the prince, argued Aunt Isabel. So Lady Nell marches in. There are shadows all around. The cave twists and winds. She turns a corner and sees Prince Augustus all tied up. "Nellie," he shouts. "Augie," she cries, and leaps to help him. Suddenly a voice snarls, "Not so fast, my little friends." And out rushes Odious Mole. With a sneer, he reaches to them with his long, sharp claws. "Oh no," cried Penelope. "What are they going to do?" Did we hear about Mole?
Yes.
And which mole was that?
The bad guy mole.
The bad guy. What's the problem?
The
person's tied up and the other person knows the mole wasn't there. And
So the problem,
There's also another
a problem is that the prince is tied up. He's kidnapped.
There's also another problem
Hmm.
that he got kidnapped.
Yep, that's what we just said. Okay. So do we still know what odious is? What do you think odious means?
Odious?
Mm-hmm.
Brave?
Well, odious mole. What do we know about the mole?
Oh, he creepy.
He's creepy.
He has long nails.
Long nails. But what do you think odious would mean?
Odious means like villain.
Villain. Is he likable?
No.
No, he's kind of hateful, right?
That's what
He's mean.
Moles don't look good.
So what can odious mean?
Like a mean.
Mean, hateful. So let's move this over.
It's probably mean because he wants to be the king.
Let's find out. Let's keep reading. Quick as a flash, Aunt Isabel replied. Lady Nell calls her fireflies and begins to juggle. She juggles, cried Penelope. Why? Because, you remember, she has traveled far and wide, answered Aunt Isabel, and she has learned the secrets of creatures who hide in the darkness of caves.
Firefly?
Okay. So we already have fireflies, but we didn't mark it as a character because are they a main person in the story? No.
But they're a sidekick.
So up go the fireflies, and they spin and sparkle and light up the cave like bright gold stars. Spades and shovels, yelps Odious. My eyes! My eyes! The lights hurt my eyes. Get them away from me. Run, Augustus, cries Lady Nell. After them, bad egg, snarls Odious. Did we hear kind of a solution? How does she get rid of Odious?
With the light. Because
With the
they're-
light. So I'm going to put an orange right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nocturnal, right? They don't like the light.
Yeah, just like in the
That's why they live in the gloomy cave.
And bottom of the ground.
Dark.
Let's see what's happening. Down from the ceiling swoops Bad Egg Bat, squealing. Hee hee hee. You can't stop a bat with your puny fireflies. I'll eat them up. What a treat. Hee hee. Lady Nell and Augustus scurry into the shadows to hide, but Bad Egg screeches. Hee hee hee. A bat can find you in the dark. I can hear where you are. Run quietly, Augustus whispers Lady Nell, but their paws go skitter, scatter, skitter on the floor. Hee hee, I hear you, squeals Bad Egg. I'll get you now. What will Lady Nell do? Let's find out.
She can hit the back.
She knows tricks, so let's find out.
She's just gonna go kick.
Sing, Augustus, she cries. And they both start to sing as loudly as they can. Their voices echo and echo through the cave. Soon it sounds like 100 princes and Lady Nell's, what a racket. Now Bad Egg can't tell which the voices are real. He doesn't know which ones to follow. Barnes and Belfry, stop the noise. He screeches, stop the noise. Around and around he flies, banging against the walls. Finally, he knocks himself on the head and falls down in a heap. Do we have another solution?
Yes.
What was the solution, Daniel?
He can't hear. He hears different voices.
He hears all the voices, right? So it's all echoing and it's confusing him, correct? Lady Nell and Prince Augustus dash out of the cave. They don't stop running until they are out of the forest and safely back in the castle on the hill. With shouts of joy, the king and queen rush to greet them. When Augustus tells them of Lady Nell's courage and cleverness, the king hugs her and the queen says, "What fools we have been, my dear. You will always be welcome here." And Lady Nell wiggles her ears with delight.
I was that girl saved there was they want her in there.
There's the
So she's saved.
solution, completely.
The king and queen call the whole kingdom together for a celebration, and everyone dances until dawn while the fireflies twirl and somersaults overhead.
Wait, it was winter during that time?
That's how they're cold.
Didn't say winter.
I'm cold too.
As for Odious and Bad Egg, they slink back into the depths of the cave and stay there, not daring to come out, for they know no one will ever be afraid of them again. Is that the end? Asked Penelope. It's a happy ending every good story should have, Aunt Isabel replied. Do Prince Augustus and Lady Nell get married? Asked Penelope. I wouldn't be surprised, would you? Said Aunt Isabel. But first Lady Nell becomes a famous musician, and first Prince Augustus becomes a good and wise king. All that will have to wait, though, until we are ready to make up another good story.
We can hear scary.
Okay. And now, my dear Penelope, it's time for you to go to bed. Okay, so what words did we have left over? We have lurk
And scurry.
and scurry.
They actually did scurry. They scurried away.
They did scurry away. So what do you think scurry means?
Run away.
Run away.
To move, run away quickly?
And
To
lurk.
move quickly.
And they actually did lurk.
All right, and what did we hear about lurk? Raise your hand, please. Yes.
They were lurking in the, or Penelope, the mouse in the story, was lurking, like tiptoeing away from the cave, but the bat could still hear her.
Let's see. See if we can find it.
Penelope and the duck was scurrying.
So they scurry into the shadows to hide, but the bat could still see them or hear them. Let's see.
They were well, maybe the mole and the villain.
See, lurk sounds kind of scary, right? So when something is lurking, It's to sneak, to be very quiet,
Like
secretly.
Like when predators go for prey.
Like a predator after a prey.
Or like
Okay, so I have some questions. Let's see. What do you think would happen if Penelope never came back? And when the king and queen said to be gone? What?
The prince.
Huh?
Prince wouldn't be saved.
Mm-hmm. The prince wouldn't have been saved,
He would
right?
regret it if- he would regret.
I got one.
He probably regretted not letting her
Mm-hmm.
in because she saved him.
Yeah.
But if she wasn't there, she wouldn't. Well, he would still be the king.
Mm-hmm. She wouldn't have been able to save him.
If Dennis for the news, the girl wouldn't have gone to tell them,
Mm-hmm.
and the people, the king and prince, would have to give the crown to him so they could.
Yeah, right. So they would have had to do what the letter said, right? Okay. How do you think that the prince being kidnapped could have been avoided? Could have been prevented?
If he wasn't outside
If he wasn't outside doing what?
crying.
Crying. So how do you think it could have been avoided?
he wasn't
Oh.
here.
If he wasn't crying and if he wasn't outside.
So why was he crying?
Because
Because his friend was gone.
They told the girl to go away, right?
the girl.
So if they had never said go away, do you think he would have been crying in the garden?
No.
No.
Or he wouldn't be kidnapped.
Not like a hill, not a
He
garden.
wouldn't be rescued.
He wouldn't be rescued. Good job.
Or you could have went to his room and cried.
He could have gone to his room and cried.
But he likes the garden.
He does like the garden. It's his favorite place to have what?
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches for picnics, right? Alrighty. What else did you like? Okay, so Daniel, what was your favorite part of the book?
When the prince gets saved.
When the prince gets saved. Okay. Karen?
My favorite part is the very beginning, whenever they start to make the story.
Okay, when they start to make the story.
I have two, but I like when they're singing and stuff at the back views, still when they save the king.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's think. If I was going to write a summary, I like to put all my things together. So, let's see. If I were to start with my who's my who?
The prince.
Who is the actual character?
Please pardon this interruption. 3, 4, and 5 have completed their testing. And so we will be back on schedule. Thank you, boys and girls, for another good day of testing. Let's have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
So, what was the whole story about? What was happening?
It was crazy.
What was happening? So, we knew that there was a story being told about a prince and a girl, but what was happening?
There was romance, there's
Mm-hmm.
sadness.
Saving.
So, who was telling the story?
Kate.
That Kate wrote the book, that's correct. But who was telling the story?
The ant.
The Aunt Isabel. So Aunt Isabel. And who helped her tell the story?
The girl.
And Penelope.
And the prince.
Did the prince help tell the story, or was the prince the story?
It was this.
It was the story. Okay. What were they doing?
They were making a story.
They were making, thank you, Karen. They were making up a story. So they make up a story. Okay. What was the story about?
The prince that likes to girl, but then the girl saves him.
Mm-hmm.
People like him.
Okay, so what was the whole story about? The prince and who?
Penelope.
Penelope. So what was the prince's name?
Carlo.
Huh?
We forgot.
Augustus.
Augustus.
About Prince Augustus.
And Penelope.
What did they call her in the story?
Who?
In the story. Lady what?
Nell.
Lady Nell.
And Lady Nell.
She was not even a lady. She's like a little kid.
Hey, You don't know that.
Now, what was their story? Was it an adventure?
Yeah.
About their adventure.
And
Her life was kind of crazy, wasn't it? So can we say a good summary? So if somebody is going to come up to you and say, hey, I want to read that book. What's it about? Would it be able to say, Aunt Isabel and Penelope make up a story about Prince Augustus and Lady Nell's adventure?
Yes.
Without giving things away, right?
Yep.
Good job. Okay,
Except for the Aunt Isabel and Penelope make a story.
they do make the story.
Well, yeah, but that's giving away more.
Well, I mean, it's still about what the story is because, I mean, Aunt Isabel is in the title. It's not really giving anything away. Okay, so we have lots of reds and all kinds of colors throughout a book. So does this show you that a book has many different parts to it? Can you just have a character? Can you have a where without a when? No, we have to have these things to make an interesting book, right? We have to have a problem and a solution, okay?
And we get something that probably fix it.
And so the solution, okay?
These nouns, but
Mm-hmm.
there's things.
Yep. Alrighty, so we are done for today. All right, y'all did a great job.